Best handheld ham radio, best HT handheld transceiver for 2025. Coming into the shopping season of 2025. Take a look at these top 11 radios that I have picked out, my personal preference of what is the best HT for this year coming into shopping season and moving into next year. Let's go. These best HT and best mobile videos do very well on the channel, and I appreciate you guys providing all the feedback that you have on these in the past. I'm going to go through the top 11 handheld ham radios for 2025 today in this video, and if I miss something, or if you think I should add something, please put a comment in the video below. First off, we're going to start out, and all of these are going to go in order of price. We're going to start with the lowest price, and we're going to go to the top price, the most expensive. So today we're going to start with this brand new Baofeng UV5R Mini. Now, I've read some good reports about this radio, and I've actually got one of them right here, and I let the battery die on it. I've used this on my All-Star Hub a couple of times. I've gotten good sound reports from it. It is very small. This is my smartphone right here, so you can see how small it is. There's several videos from other YouTubers on YouTube as well, and this is getting really high marks right now. So today we're starting out with the Baofeng UV5R Mini, and it is selling on Amazon. This is a 2-pack on Amazon for $45.99. Free delivery in about a week or so. So that's about, what, $22.50 a piece, something like that. You can get them in various colors. Black, gray, green, orange. There's actually a clear one that's out there as well. And I think the clear one costs a little bit more money. That's usually the way of things. The kind of the more unique colors tend to cost a little bit more money. This one does advertise Bluetooth read-write frequency, 5-watt power, 999 memory channels. 999 memory channels is a good number of memory channels for a Baofeng radio. A lot of your early Baofengs, including the UV5R and UV82, only had about 128 memory channels. So this one is smaller than most and has 999 memory channels. Has NOAA weather warning, USB-C for fast charging, emergency outdoor hunting equipment, outdoor emergency and hunting equipment set. So sure, yeah, that's probably fine. Actually, I probably will take mine hunting this year now that I think about it. So number one today is the Baofeng UV5R Mini, $22.50 a piece, $45.99 for a 2-pack on Amazon. Next is its big brother, the DM32UV DMR radio. Now, I did a video about a radio similar to this a while back. It was not stamped Baofeng, but it's probably the same radio inside. And when we were out in Huntsville, Alabama earlier this year, and I was sitting down to record the general class sessions from one of their instructors in that at the facility there, those classes you will see on this channel upcoming very soon. He had one of these, and he couldn't stop talking about how great it was. He's like, look, Baofengs are very hit or miss. I like some of them. I don't like other ones. He said he put this one on a spectrum analyzer on a tiny SA. He got really good results. He's used it for DMR and analog. He really likes the way it sounds. He likes the way it performs. So I'm like, okay, well, I got to pick one of these up. So I've ordered one of these. I haven't done anything with it yet. I'm waiting on it to get here. I ran across it again, making the list for this video, and I'm like, you know what? I need to just bite the bullet and grab one of those and do a separate video on that. But this comes in about $69.99, 15% off at the time of this recording, and it is a much larger than the UV5R Mini and even the UV5R. It's got the large screen on it, and it is a DMR radio, not just analog, USB-C Type-C programming, 10 watts, APRS dual band. So I'm wondering what APRS means. Does it just receive? Does it have full APRS functionality, or did they just put APRS in the title because it's a catchy term and it doesn't actually have APRS? It just has GPS. So I don't know. I'm going to grab one and see. But this one comes in number 2 today at $70 for one of the radios. The next is the Baofeng TECH, the BTECH BF-F8HP Pro 10-watt tri-band radio, which includes 220. IP54 rated, 1,000 channels, GPS, aviation receive, and USB-C. I have a 10% off coupon that Baofeng TECH gave me to share with my subscribers. You can get 10% off with the coupon code of HR2-BF-F8HP Pro. Actually, it might be HR2-F8HP Pro. I'll have to look it up. I forget whether the whole thing's in there because it's kind of a long model number. But You can get 10% off regardless of that, which is about $7. So that drops this one down to about $62 at the time of this recording. Again, it is tri-band, 1,000 memory channels, very rugged. I've got one of these around here somewhere, and I played with it a little bit. I'm like, you know what? This is a very well-made, sturdy feeling ham radio, and it works really well on the 220 band as well. So if you're looking at tri-band something, this is going to be the lowest priced tri-band radio that we talk about today. Number 4 is a Japanese-made radio. Now, all of these radios we've talked about so far are Chinese-made. Baofeng, both of those are Baofengs. Baofeng Tech, and Baofeng Tech is a company inside the USA. They're in North or South Dakota, I think. They do all the design and all the sales and all the implementation, but the radios are still made in China. They work with Baofeng to do some updated models and improvements, and they are all type accepted, FCC certified and all that kind of good stuff. So if you want to buy a lesser expensive radio that's similar to a Baofeng but don't want to have to call China for support, Baofeng Tech has inside of the USA support, but they are Chinese radios. Number 4 on the list today is the Yaesu FT-65. This is a 5-watt VHF dual band HT. You're going to get Yaesu performance with it. Some of these older models would actually say made in China on the package. I've been told that Yaesu has moved all of their manufacturing back to Japan. So you might or might not get a FT65 that says made in Japan or made in China on it. The one I have says made in China, but it was, I purchased it 4 or 5 years ago, so I've had it for a while. Again, I've been told that they have moved that back to Japan since then, so I don't know what the current status of things is. 5-watt, 3 power settings, 5-watt, 2.5, and 0.5 watts. A 2,500 milliamp hour lithium-ion battery for over 11.5 hours of operating time. VFO scan, memory scan, priority channel scan, weather scan alert, weather channels, and severe weather alerts. Full list of design, features and specifications right here on the Gigaparts website. Also remember, it's not going to get you a discount, but if you use the code of KC5HWB at the Gigaparts website, you will get double points on all purchases for everything you purchase from them. And then you can kind of accumulate points and let them build up in your account. And the next time they run a double or triple or 10x points special on purchases in the store, you can take all your points and kind of 10x them at that point in time. So just wait for that. But it's a point system they came up with that's really kind of cool once you understand how it works. But this is number 4 on the list today. For number 5, we're going back to a BTECH. This is the BTECH UV Pro 5-watt GPS Bluetooth app programmable. And this has probably been one of the most popular radios of this year, 2025. A lot of us got together and used this radio in Orlando and again in Dayton and again in Huntsville this year. I've done several videos talking about this radio. I've been carrying this specific model with me for the last 2 to 3 months because it has a full KISS TNC accessible by Bluetooth in it. So without getting too much, and I've already explained this in previous videos, but basically what it means is you can use Bluetooth from your Android device or your iOS device, connect to the radio, and use it as a TNC to connect into APRS or WinLink. Okay, and I have specific videos about doing all that. And for this price point, for $165, a radio that has all of those features, we only have one other radio we're going to talk about today that has all of those features, and it's much more than $165. So stay tuned. I'm going to talk about that one shortly because it's one of my favorite radios in the list today. But I also have a 10% coupon off of this radio, HR2-UV Pro, and I know that coupon code is right. Sold a lot of radios for BTECH with that coupon code, so you can get a $16.50 discount, 10% off of this radio. Full Bluetooth TNC, comes in a tan model as well. Useful for connecting to WinLink packet over FM, or useful for APRS beaconing on 144.390N. Excellent radio, very good quality. The internal menus for APRS leave a little bit to be desired. They don't, they're not quite 100% there yet. However, if you just use the TNC in it to connect it to APRS Droid, you're golden. It works great. So that's number 5 on today's list. Number 6, we're going to go back to, we're sticking with the Chinese-made but American-designed radios. Anything from BetterSafeRadio.com is eligible for a 7% off coupon code. HR2All7 will get you 7% off of anything, pretty much all of the radios for sure on this website. So he's got this new yellow model that just came in. He's running a fall special right now at the time of this recording, and I'm sure he'll probably have a Black Friday special that comes up soon. But regardless of what that is, you can always use HR2 all 7 to get a 7% discount on all radios on this website. The great thing about this is the only radio in today's list with the following feature, okay? This radio, all of his Waxon radios, Oshang radios, they all come pre-programmed. 900 plus memory channels come in all of these radios. He's got a code plug that he puts in all of these radios. Most of them are receive only. All of the ham radios are opened up on the ham versions, and all of the GMRS frequencies are opened up on the GMRS versions of these, of course. The rest of them are receive only. But you've got police and fire department, you got businessman, you got EMS, you got NOAA weather, you got a bunch of other weather stations, you got channels that you probably never even knew existed, military and whatnot. Over 900 channels come pre-programmed in all of the radios that are purchased from this website. So I often get the question about, hey, if you just got your license and you're just starting out and you don't really know what you're doing, which radio would you get? And I'm like, go get a Better Safe radio, because it's going to have all of these channels pre-programmed for you. You're going to be able to put it on scan and kind of see what available activity there is in your area. So check out Better Safe Radio. Links to this website and everything else we talk about will be in the description below. If you're talking about wanting to feed any of these are all HT radios we're talking about today, but if you ever want to feed them into an external antenna and get a little bit better range out of them, I highly recommend Mezzi and Poloni Coax. Mezzi and Poloni Coax is the sponsor of today's video. You can save a 10% discount with the coupon code of HR2 cables at the link in the description below. Italian-made coax, very good quality. Some really cool coax tools, some of the best ends, PL259 and Type N connectors that you will see in the industry. Great quality coax made out of Italy, and they've been a sponsor of this channel for a while, so I highly recommend them. Check the links in the description below. Thank you, Mezzi and Poloni, for supporting the channel. Sticking with the Chinese-made radios, this is number 7. And this is a fairly new radio that just came out earlier this year, the Retevis Ailunce H1 DMR radio. This is a new version of what used to be their HD1, I think, or H-something, HA1, no, HD1, I think. They sent me one of these, and they're like, hey, can you make a video about this? And I said, sure. And I got it, and I tinkered with it for a few days, maybe a week, something like that. And then they emailed me again, and they're like, hey, don't make that video yet. We're out of stock. They've all sold out. And they claim that the reason they all sold out is because of the fantastic APRS features on this radio. Now, I've tinkered with this a little bit, and I will be making a video about it soon. I don't have that up yet because I was waiting on them, and they've given the go-ahead. They're back in stock now. But they claim that this radio is just a fantastic radio for APRS. APRS over FM, analog-style APRS. So we're going to be doing some testing on that upcoming. $152 today on Amazon, 15% off. Comes with 4,000 memory channels, pretty indicative of a lot of DMR radios have that many channels in them. 2,900 milliamp hour battery, 500,000 imported contacts for your DMR channels. It comes with AES 256 encryption, which we don't use in ham radio, but most DMRs have that type of encryption in it. So this one is, I'm looking forward to this one. I'm looking forward to trying this one out and carrying it with me a little bit more often and seeing how well it works on APRS, because I've been doing a lot of stuff with APRS lately. So if you're interested in this type of radio, this one has DMR and analog and APRS and GPS and a few other things in it with a lot of memory channels. $152 on Amazon today. Upgrading the DMR game just a little bit. AnyTone, earlier this year, came out with a D168UV, and these are sold over on the Bridgecom website. Bridgecom often sells these radios with bundles. You can get it with a bunch of accessories, extra batteries, antennas, desk charger, all that kind of good stuff. $199 is the price on today's radio, and you're probably not going to see a better price come up on that because AnyTone's really good or really bad, however you want to look at it, about setting a price and saying, do not sell below this price. Icom does this. Yaesu does this sometimes. Kenwood's been known to do this before, but AnyTone's one of the few companies out of China that does this. They're like, this is the minimum price you're allowed to sell this for. Don't sell it any cheaper. So what Bridgecom does is they add all these accessories that you would probably want anyway to the price of the radio, and they give you the accessories for free. So you're still paying the same price for the radio, but you're getting a lot of accessories for free in these bundle packages that they're often trying to promote on their website. AnyTone probably makes the best and most robust DMR dual band radio in the amateur radio world today. There's a lot of really good DMR radios out there, And there's a lot of really good DMR radios that are made for the commercial world, like Harris and Motorola and those guys. But those are primarily all monoband. Okay, Motorola has some dual band and tri-band P25 radios, but to my knowledge, I don't think they have anything that's DMR that's multi-band, but I could be wrong about that. I haven't looked. But as far as radios that are made for the amateur radio market and amateur radio world, AnyTone is some of my favorite. They have the most features. They were one of the first ones to have true APRS over FM, and they're just very good radio. I still carry my 868 UV2 Plus with me everywhere I go. It sits on the rack behind me in the truck, so it's always with me. It's got a USB-C chargeable battery. It's always charged up, and it's ready to go. So if you're into DMR or want to get into DMR for a low price point, this 168 UV is a good place to start. Now we're going to go back to the Japanese-made radios, and this one's definitely made in Japan. We're getting into some of the more expensive stuff now. We're getting into some of the digital stuff. We talked a little bit about a couple of DMR radios earlier on in the video, and this one is going to be a Yaesu System Fusion radio. Now, one question I often get after a video like this is, okay, where should I actually start? Should I actually start at the lowest point, just work my way up and buy a bunch of radios, or should I buy the most expensive radio and start there? I can't afford that much. I can't afford $600-700 for an HT. I get that. I do. I get that. I tell people, buy the most expensive radio that you can afford. And if that's a $25 or $30 radio today, then do that. Okay, having a radio in your hand is better than having no radio in your hand. So if that's all you can afford today, then do that. But generally speaking, if you're going to buy a cheaper radio today and get into ham radio and get to seeing all the things that the more expensive radios do and get to really like the hobby and like talking on the radio, you're eventually going to want to upgrade anyway, because you're not going to want to use a $35 radio for the next 5 to 10 years, generally speaking. I know some guys will come along in the comments and say, well, I still have mine and use it all. Well, that's great, but it's probably not the only radio you have, and if it is, you're missing out on a lot of stuff, okay? So get the most expensive radio that you can afford today and go from there, and just don't look back. Just use it and go. That's the most important thing. This is Yaesu's flagship Yaesu System Fusion radio. This is their FT5D. I've got this radio myself. I really, really like it. It is an excellent quality radio, and it uses the System Fusion digital voice mode. This also has one of the best APRS menus that I've seen. Now, some people don't like Yaesu menus, and I get that, but nevertheless, even though the menus might be a little wonky, okay, Yaesu and Kenwood have the most fully featured APRS options in their radios today. The FT5, the FT3 that's been discontinued, a couple of the mobile radios from Yaesu, and a couple of the Kenwoods we're going to talk about here in a moment have some of the best APRS features in the radio today. So if you're interested in APRS and taking full advantage of it, and you want just a good quality, very good front end, very good sound and audio, both on transmit and receive, and a hefty HT. This one actually has a touch screen as well. $379 today at the Gigaparts website. Again, you can get double points with the coupon code of KC5HWB. It's not really a coupon. It just gives you double points instead of spending. You get $1 for every point with no codes at all. So if you go spend $379, you get 379 points. But if you use my code, you'll get double that. And that works on everything in the store. So now we're going to go to Icom. Yaesu is a Japanese brand, one of the best ones out there. Icom is another very, very good Japanese brand, okay? And the ID-50 is a fairly new HT radio also. It's not their flagship radio. It's the second from the top, but I'm not going to include the flagship today. I'm going to include the ID-50, which is a monochrome screen that's a little bit smaller, and it doesn't have Bluetooth. I went over here and asked Grok. I'm like, okay, Grok, tell me again, what is the difference between the Icom ID-52 and the ID-52A, the ID-50A, and the ID-52 Anniversary Edition? So, in a nutshell, the original ID-52 was micro USB charging, okay? It has a full-color screen, Bluetooth, and D-Star. The ID-50 came out after the original ID-52. It has a smaller screen that's only monochrome, no color, and it also has D-Star, but it has no Bluetooth. But it does have USB-C. They finally went to USB-C. This was the first one they did that with. First handheld radio that Icom did with USB-C. And then later on, the ID-52A Anniversary Edition came out. It came in a different color. It had the color screen, the larger screen, and instead of being micro, it was USB-C. And the those are a couple $100 more than this one. So generally speaking, I say, you know, get the ID-50. This is a great radio. It's just a monochrome screen. Most people don't care about that. It's not touchscreen. Most people don't care about that, or at least I don't care about touchscreen myself. And it has D-Star, no Bluetooth, and USB-C chargeable. So it is a great quality Icom radio. And that brings us to the last, number 11 radio. And this is one of my favorites by far. This is the brand new Kenwood TH-D75. Now, I told you earlier when we were talking about the UV Pro that there's only one other radio that's got a full open KISS TNC that you can connect to Bluetooth with. And this is it. This is it. The D75 has a full open KISS TNC that you can connect to Bluetooth, and you can use WinLink over FM packet, or you can use APRS over FM with APRS Droid or some other app on your phone. This radio also has the 220 megahertz band, so it's actually a tri-band radio. The Icom and the Yaesu that we just spoke about are both dual band radios. They all have about 1,000 memory channels roughly, but the Kenwood has a third band, 220 megahertz, which I love the 220 band, so that gives you an additional thing there. It does have Bluetooth. It does have full APRS as well. One of the few radios we're talking about today that has full APRS, and the menus in the Kenwood are probably the best APRS menus of any HT radio that's made in 2025. It's easy to use, it's easy to navigate through, and it's full featured. It's not missing any key elements of APRS, and it's got everything you'd ever want to do with messaging, with beaconing, with setting objects and reading and transmitting and receiving and all that kind of good stuff. So it is a full-fledged APRS radio with a built-in CNC that will allow you to access WinLink and APRS Droid and lots of other stuff like that. Coming in at $639.95 today. It is not a cheap, not an inexpensive HT, but it's probably, if you are to get one of these, it's probably one of the last HTs you'll ever buy. I love mine. I carry it with me everywhere. I have an extended battery on it that I use, and when I'm at a ham fest walking around with an HT radio on my hip, this is what it's been for most of this year of 2025. So that's all 11 of them. That's all 11 of the ones that I've picked. What do you guys think? Do you think I should have included something else? I know there's 2 or 3 that I left out on purpose, and there's a few more that I was like, well, I'm not really familiar with that model, so I'm not going to talk about it today. It's certainly not an exhaustive list. It's not a complete list. These are just my top 11 picks for the best HT of 2025. So tell me what you would pick in the comments below, and thanks for watching today.